Here I am again. I don't give up, do I? Like my hair? I don't care. I don't care what I look like. Anyway, plus it's only 4:36 a.m. So, I, you know, this is what your hair looks like when you wake up. Who cares about my hair? I don't know why I keep doing this. I go back and review my videos, and I think, who would watch this? I don't know, but it's fun. I like making them. So today, my subject is you don't have to do that. Things that you don't really have to do, that you think you may have to do, but you don't have to. Things like going to public school, actually going to school at all when you're a child. You don't have to go to school. Um, you can be homeschooled. All you got to do is find someone who's willing to kind of monitor you, and you get your assignments and you do them. And I know lots of homeschooled kids, and they're fine, they're great, and you can do anything in homeschool that you can do in regular school because you can go to proms and you can do sports and you can have fellowship with other homeschooled children. So you don't have to go to school. I mean, they made school compulsory in the 1850s, but nowadays we don't have to. It's not against the law anymore to not send your kids to public school. But of course, you do have to check in as a homeschooler. It's just so ridiculous. Okay, that's not my subject, but I work with teenagers, and they're saying, "I hate school, I hate school, I hate school." And I was there. I know what they. I went through the public school system. I hate school too, and I tell them, I say, "I feel you, I feel for you," because I wouldn't want to go to school, especially nowadays. Oh, it must be awful. That's one thing. Another thing is you don't have to go to a doctor. We talked about that yesterday. Doctors. Uh, you don't have to. You can take care of your own health. The only time you need to go to doctors is if you have an extreme emergency, you're bleeding to death, you broke something, your appendix is about to burst, things like that. That's the only reason you need a doctor. Doctors are, other than that, are pretty much worthless. Not all doctors. Of course, there are doctors that actually promote nutrition and things like that, but most of them don't. The vast majority do not, and are just merely drug pushers and surgery sellers. Another thing you don't have to do in regards to the medical thing is you don't have to vaccinate yourself or your children. This one really gets to me because I've seen examples, and I've seen examples in my own life around me of people who are vaccine injured, who are young people that are autistic. And I know it's because they had vaccines. It's one of the reasons. Uh, they have all the classic symptoms of autism, and they're they're not too bad because they can talk and they can do things, but they have severe learning disabilities. Just the classic symptoms of autism, like repeating yourself over and over and over. Being the autistic kids are very loving. The ones that are more autistic, they're very loving children. They like to hug you. They like to tell you they love you. And sadly, that's part of autism. It should be normal. But okay, so this morning I had posted on Facebook the work and writings of a woman from Russia named Tatiana, and I'm not even going to try to say her last name. It starts with an O. Anyway, she's an immunologist. She went to Harvard, and she's very educated, and she speaks kind of against vaccines. She says they're not necessary and things like that. And so this brilliant genius posts on Facebook this stupid article picking her apart and referring to people who choose not to vaccinate as a religious cult. A religious cult. These are people, most people who don't want to vaccinate have had an adverse reaction in one of their children or more than one of their children, and that's why they don't vaccinate. Or they did a bunch of research. And this really irks me. People who have the audacity to say to anybody, oh, vaccines are perfectly safe, they're harmless, and you need them. Why didn't we need them as much prior to 1983 when they really upped how many they give to children? I've probably received, I don't know, maybe 3 in my life. I'm 53 years old. I think I've had 3. I think I had smallpox and I've had a couple tetanus shots over the years. I refused a tetanus shot back in 2016. They weren't going to give me one because I split my head open. And they said, we're going to give you a tetanus. I said, no, you're not. You're not going to be a tetanus shot. Shortly after that, I watched a video called, what's it called? It's about a dude who got a tetanus shot and it ruined his life. It ruined his health. He almost died. He was able to come back somewhat, but he never went back 100% to what he was before he got the shot. And I know my body. I know how sensitive I am to these chemicals that Big Pharma sells based on my experience with oxycodone and Tylenol 3. I know how my body reacts to these substances. So I know if I took a flu shot or any other kind of a tetanus shot, I probably most likely would react very badly to it. I got enough problems with my brain. I don't need them shooting mercury and aluminum into me where it goes into, passes the blood-brain barrier and goes into my brain. I don't need that. So vaccines, that's something you don't have to do. God gave us an immune system. But here's how you know this whole debate on vaccines and a lot of things in this life that you don't have to do, that you think you do, is spiritual. Because you tell these people who think it's okay, they say there's nothing wrong, they're safe and effective. You tell them, you say, well, wait a minute, please. What is SIDS? What is SIDS? Even the scientists and the doctors will tell you, we don't know what causes sudden infant death syndrome. We don't know what causes it. We think it's because they suffocate because they're laying on their stomach or some crap like that. Like the kid, like the baby, even a little tiny baby doesn't realize it's not breathing and turns over, it moves. I mean, come on, people, stupid. If you're in trouble, it's an innate, natural occurrence to want to get out of trouble, even if you're a baby. So you're a baby and you're suffocating. You're going to move your face, aren't you? Yeah, even a baby. We don't know what causes SIDS, but it's not vaccines. Really? So most of these kids who die, these babies who die of SIDS, they had just had vaccines. But it's not the vaccine. It can't be, because they're safe. The CDC told us so. The Big Pharma tells us they're safe. The government tells us they're safe. So it can't be. It can't be the vaccines that my child just had that killed them. No, it's got to be that, oh, they were so exhausted and they were sleeping on their little tum-tum and their face got buried in the sheets and the blankets and they suffocated. Please. This is like so retarded and idiotic. We truly live in idiocracy. So that when then the kid turns 2, let's say the kid survives they get the HPV vaccine when they're just right after they're born. Because as right after they're born, they're going to go out and shoot up on drugs and have sex with prostitutes, little babies. So they need that, not HPV, what am I saying? I'm sorry. They want to give that to babies. The hepatitis or the, oh my gosh. Forgive me, I just woke up. What's the disease you get from using needles and having sex? Anyway, they give that shot to little babies, right? I know, that just makes me sound stupid. What? Is it hepatitis? I think so. Anyway, they give these little baby shots for hepatitis, which is the disease you get from needles and sex. Okay, makes sense. Then, so your baby survives all those shots they give the baby when they're born, and so then about 18 months or 2 years, whatever that is, I think it's usually around 2 years, isn't it? You take your little baby, your little toddler, to the doctor, and your baby's fine, your toddler's fine. They're talking, they're walking, running, smiling, laughing, having a good time. They're babies, they're children, they're little tiny children, and so they're okay. They're great. They're given a good bill of health, even though they got those other vaccines. Amazing, which is miraculous. So you take them in, and they get their MMR, and then a few days after their MMR, they no longer talk, they no longer walk, they no longer smile, they no longer engage with you. They just sit there and twiddle their fingers and look at the wall, and really don't do much of anything. And they might start having seizures. They might get type 1 diabetes. They might get diabetes, seizures, diabetes, other autoimmune diseases, which are very common after you get vaccines. What else? They may die. I mean, that's the reality of it. And because when you get the vaccine, you don't look at the vaccine insert, which lists autism is one of the side effects listed on the package insert, the vaccine insert. Yeah, they say, oh no, vaccines don't cause autism. No, there's no correlation. But it's listed as one of the side effects on the stupid vaccine information. Okay. They're lying to you, and you're believing it. This idiot on Facebook, what an idiot! They're lying to our faces about the safety of vaccines, when even in their own stupid literature it says that it causes these things. Food allergies. It causes food allergies. Why so many peanut allergies nowadays? Vaccines. It causes autism. It causes autoimmune. It causes seizures. It causes that high-pitched screaming you hear these kids do nowadays. It's the ungodly high-pitched screaming you hear. You go to the grocery store and there's some little 2-year-old in the cart going, ah! I mean, I didn't hear that before when I was a kid. You didn't hear kids screeching. It's not even screaming. It's this weird screeching at the top of their lungs. The poor children. You know why? Because the mercury and the aluminum and all the other crap they put in vaccines passes the blood-brain barrier and goes up into their brain, and they get encephalitis. Their brain swells up. They get all kinds of things. Oh, but no, it's not the vaccine. It just happens. It's just, it was there in their body. Maybe the vaccine shook it loose or something. It was already there. The vaccine just helped it come along. Well, okay, the vaccine helped it come along. Then it's whatever your excuse is for maiming and murdering children. You think it's okay because they tell you that these vaccines are effective and you need them because, they eradicated measles and now it's back. They didn't eradicate crap. These diseases will always exist. They'll always exist. They didn't eradicate. They tell us, they actually come on the news and they say, measles was totally eradicated in the United States and now it's back with a vengeance and people are dying. Well, guess what? People aren't dying of measles in the U.S. They may be dying of measles in Africa where they bathe in the same water they poop in. Maybe that's where they're dying because they don't have immune systems. They don't have good food. They don't have sanitation and they're dying there. Yeah, I believe that. But they would die of anything there. They're not dying in the United States, but they are dying from the vaccine. They're not dying from measles. I had measles. I know a lot of people that had measles. We lived. It's a fever. It's an infection. It's a viral infection. You're sick. You get a little bump. You get these little bumps on your face and on your body, and you have a fever and you don't feel good. It's like having the flu. It's like having any other. It's like having a bad head cold. I had it. I didn't die. I didn't even go to the hospital. Nothing bad happened to me. I survived it. I had chickenpox at the age of 17. It was the doctor I went to at the time, I won't claim him as my doctor. The doctor I was forced to go to at the time said it was the worst case of chickenpox he's ever seen. Well, all I had to do was, I got to miss school for 2 weeks. I was happy. Yeah, I had chickenpox all over. I had them in my tongue, in my ears. I had them everywhere. On my tongue, sorry. I survived. I didn't get a shot. You know, it's okay. I'm 53 years old. I've had 3 shots in my life. I think 3 or 4, maybe 4, including tetanus shots. And I'm healthy. I'm claiming I'm healthy. Except for that cough. These kids are not healthy. Kids nowadays are not healthy. By the way, why have they never done a study? Because they give, how many vaccines do they give nowadays? What's the schedule? I think by the time a child has reached the age of 18, they've gotten, almost 100 vaccines? Like 70 some back. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's up there though. I think it's like 72. And you're pumping that much of these adjuvants. Aluminum, mercury, polysorbate 80, polysorbate 80, MSG, eggs, DNA from animals, dogs, monkeys, DNA from humans. Oh, I heard on the radio yesterday, the kid who he sued so he would not have to get vaccinated. He got the chickenpox. Like, oh my, that serves you right, you SOB, for not wanting to get vaccines to go to school. You SOB, now you've got the chickenpox. Ha 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 ha. So what? He's probably going to live. I mean, he's most likely going to live, but he's not getting the vaccine, so he's definitely going to live. Okay. And then they say in the news item, they claim there's baby cells, of aborted baby cells in the vaccines. Therefore, as Christians, we don't want to have anything to do with putting aborted baby cells from their kidneys in our bodies. And then the news piece says, but that's not true. It is true. You're full of crap. They admit, they themselves, the ones who push these shots, admit that they've taken an aborted fetus, a baby, and extracted cells from this baby and put them in vaccines. It's honest to God the truth. And they lie to us every day. Why do they lie? Why? To get us to take vaccines. Think about it. Why are they lying to us with something that is not proven to be safe and effective? There's no proof. Do a study, please, between vaccinated and unvaccinated children. Do a study. They won't do it. They refuse to do it. Why? Because unvaccinated children are healthy, vaccinated children are not healthy. As simple as that, you know? So, vaccines are evil, unneeded, unnecessary. They kill, they maim, they cause more disease. If you think about it, it's really easy to understand. Why does Big Pharma make a product that will turn you into a patient for life? Will turn you into a customer for life. You get a shot, you get autism. Then you're in the system, you got to have all these, these special governmental programs put in place for kids who can barely do anything. And then when they grow up, what is their life? What is the hope for their life? One of the young men I work with, he's verbal, but you can't understand him. He's very hard to understand. He can't talk. He's very learning disabled. He got out of high school. He graduated. He can't read. He is autistic. What's the hope for his future? Now, I have hope. I do have hope for him, and I encourage him. I tell him, you can do whatever you want to do. You got to just put your mind to it and pray and, do those things. You can do it. And I encourage these kids because they can work. They have jobs through Goodwill, which is a good thing. Goodwill kind of trains them, helps train them, and they actually have jobs. And that's great. But it's not like you and me where we can grow up, get married, have kids, and live a normal life, go to work and earn money. They can't do that. Or it's going to be very much harder for them to do that. And when they can't read or write and their verbal skills are very bad, who's going to hire them? I mean, okay, Goodwill will hire them, yeah. But they're not going to be able to get a good high-paying job, or, they'll be doomed to, they're not going to go to college for sure. They barely graduate high school. And they only graduate high school because the system pushes them out. They can't keep them forever. So at the age of 19, 20, they graduate. Anyway, you don't need to get vaccines. And I'm sick and tired of these people who can't see the forest through the trees. Who actually will say, oh, well, okay, I vaccinated my child and now my child is sick. Oh, it's anecdotal. It's a coincidence. But why is it happening so much? Why is there a bus signed by hundreds of people? Why are there all those videos? Why was there a documentary called Vaxxed, which was out in the theaters a few years ago and was very popular? Why does that even exist if your stupid vaccines are so safe and effective? Why are these videos that you can watch on YouTube of people reporting the vaccine injuries that their child or themselves they sustained? Why is that there? Is it because they're a religious cult? Like this idiot says, they're a religious cult and they just want to stir up trouble. That's all. Vaccines are perfectly safe and harmless. These people just obviously want to just be troublemakers. They just want to live their lives, and they think they're doing what they have to do. The doctor says I have to vaccinate my little child. Says I have to do it to keep him safe, to keep him healthy, to keep him alive. I have to vaccinate him. That's the lie. You have to do that. It's a lie. You don't have to do it. Because there's hundreds, thousands maybe. I'm hoping someday millions of people that do not vaccinate. Yeah, that's right. And if vaccines are so damn good, why are they forcing them? Like in California, you're forced. You can't even do a religious exemption in California. You are forced. So if they're so good and they're so helpful, why would anybody need to be forced to do it? Well, because they're stupid and they don't realize how good they are and how much they're needed. No, they don't do it because most likely they have a vaccine-injured child. I get so sick of this. Why are people so stupid? I'll tell you why. That's why I said it's spiritual. If you're presenting information and facts right in people's faces, you're saying, well, what about this and what about that? And you've got tons of people, and you even have doctors to back you up, like this Harvard immunologist lady. No, instead of considering what she's saying, instead of balancing it and saying, well, I'm going to consider both sides of this issue. No, pick her apart and call her the leader of a religious cult instead of listening to her. She was educated at Harvard. Sounds very knowledgeable. I'd like to see this dude on Facebook or any of these idiots. I'd like to see them debate her or any other person who writes books that vaccines are unnecessary. I think, what's her name? Susanna Humphries. She wrote a book. I have her book. It's about It's all about vaccines, and it makes sense. You know, why are diseases less fatal in the United States today than they were in the 1800s? Sanitation, diet, you know, the sanitation in this country used to be horrendously awful. You know, because of technology and better sanitation, we're healthier. And people weren't dying from vaccine injuries in the 1800s because there were no vaccines, really. Vaccines are kind of a newer creation. They're not very old. They probably started developing them many, many years ago, but they didn't force 72 of them on kids. You know, now they're jockeying to force them on adults now too. Guess what? The dude on Facebook who was calling anti-vaxxers religious cults, he can have all my shots that they're going to force me to take. He can have mine, okay. I'll take them with me, and I'll say, well, I can't take them because I think they'll kill me, but he can take mine for me. Just give him a double dose. Give him a double dose of everything. That's what I want him to do. And if he responds to my comment to his stupid thing he posted, I'm going to tell him that. I'll say, look, if they ever mandate them for everyone, which I think that's where they're trying to be headed is, that sounds funny. That's where they're trying to head to, is forcing vaccines on everyone. I'm sorry. Here's my face, my name. I'll give you my real name if you want it. I'm not taking your damn vaccines. Okay. You'd have to hold me down and force them on me, and if you do that, I will kill you. No, no, I'm just kidding. I won't kill you. I'm not a murderer. I don't want to kill anybody. That's why I don't like vaccines, because they kill people. Okay, this has gone far enough. These are things you don't have to do. You don't have to go to public school. You don't have to have vaccines. You don't have to go to the doctor. What else don't you have to do in this life? You don't have to pay income tax. There's no law that says you have to pay income tax. Although it doesn't matter, because they have all the money and they have the time, so they will haul your butt into court and just rake you over the coals and put you in jail, blah, blah, blah. There's so many things in this life you don't have to do. I can't think of any more. Can you think of any? Things that we think we have to do that you just flat out don't have to do. And I'm the voice crying in the wilderness. I'm saying, don't go to doctors. They kill you. Don't go to vaccines. Don't go to vaccines. Don't get vaccines. They kill you. Don't get the flu shot. My God. Let's see. I get the flu shot. Now, I go to the pharmacy, because you don't even have to go to the doctor. You don't have to go to the doctor's office or the hospital. You just head over to CVS or Walgreens or Rite Aid, and you say, okay, I want my flu shot. Here's my arm. Give me my flu shot. And, I don't have to pay for it. You're giving, and you're offering $20 off any products in here if I get my flu. Oh, that's so cool. You're offering incentives for me to get a jab. Okay, give me my flu shot. I need a flu shot. Yeah. Okay, because here are my options. If I get the flu shot or I don't get the flu shot, here's my determination. Get the flu, which most people survive it unless their immune system is compromised. Or get the flu shot, which, according to the insert on the flu shot, one of the side effects is Guillain-Barré syndrome. Guillain-Barré syndrome. What's Guillain-Barré syndrome? Oh, well, it renders some people unable to do anything. It puts people in wheelchairs. One lady who was a nursing professor, kind of one of the anecdotal stories about vaccines, she had gotten a flu shot and she was okay. Nothing happened. Maybe she got the flu, which is what happens to most people that get the flu shot. They get the flu. But the second time around, when she got the flu shot the next year, I would assume, she contracted Guillain-Barré syndrome. She became wheelchair bound. She couldn't do anything for herself. She had to have 24-hour constant, attention and care. Well, maybe not 24. When she was sleeping, she was okay, but she had to have someone care for her. She could no longer do anything herself because she got a flu shot. Right after the flu shot, she got Guillain-Barré. Oh, it's anecdotal. She had Guillain-Barré anyway. She just, had. Well, it's on the insert of the vaccine. You could get Guillain-Barré. So, let's weigh the options. Flu, Guillain-Barré. Which one do I want? Well, you may not get Guillain-Barré if you get a flu shot, right? But why take the chance? You're taking a big chance. Not only Guillain-Barré, but all kinds of things. Autoimmune disease. I don't know. There's so many things that could happen to you from a flu shot. It's all there in the insert. Read the insert. Next time you go in to get your flu shot, ask the pharmacist, say, can I see the insert for the shot? The insert? What? What are you talking about? The insert, the huge paper. I mean, seriously, it's like, 3 feet long and 2 feet wide, and it's got printing all over it, and it says what could happen to you. Do you have that? What could happen to you when you get this shot? Oh, that. Oh, okay. Well, we've never unfolded that. Okay, let's unfold this. Oh my gosh, wow, this is huge. I've never really looked at this. No, you haven't? You're giving the shots, but you've never really looked at the insert? Okay. Talk about informed consent. Being informed, being knowledgeable. Look at the insert. Okay, Mr. Pharmacist, here's on the insert, and I'm going to read this before I get my shot, okay? Oh, gee, it says here I could get any number of illnesses with this shot, including Guillain-Barré, which will render me helpless and in a wheelchair, probably. Well, look, Mr. Pharmacist, this says I could get Guillain-Barré. Oh, what's Guillain-Barré? Okay, I know what that is. Yeah. Really? You could get yeah, people have gotten it. More than one person. People have gotten Guillain-Barré after a flu shot. Oh, I'm not going to get the flu shot then. Well, but you should. Well, I heard on the news that this flu shot this year is not effective. It's only about 10% effective. I think it's 0%, but that's just me. But get it anyway. Wait a minute. I just said that your own people out there, not conspiracy theorists, but the 5 o'clock news is telling us that this year's flu shot is not effective. It's only effective for 10% of the people who get it. So the 90% of people who it's not effective for, they're still going to get the flu. Why should I get it? Oh, just get it anyway. That's what they tell you. Get it anyway. God, they tell us it's not effective. And then they say, get it anyway. Are you insane? Are you out of your mind? Come on, people. Wake up. It's like the people, and I personally know someone who thought they said, we think you have cancer, and they did some tests, and they said, you're going to have to do chemo. We think you have cancer. And then they did some more tests, and they realized, well, you really didn't have cancer, but let's do the chemo anyway. My God. You don't have cancer, but let's shoot you with chemo anyway. Let's poison you with chemo anyway, even though you don't have cancer. Or like my pastor's brother, who had a tumor in his stomach, and they said, we're going to go cut your stomach out because of this tumor. And then he fasted, and when they opened him up, there was no more tumor. They didn't see it, but they cut him up anyway. They did the operation anyway, even though there was no tumor. Oh my God. You think that you're safe and you're healthy in the hands of doctors and big pharma? I am so pissed off about this. This pisses me off. And the reason it pisses me off so much, am I pisses in the Bible? Anyway, this ticks me off because I see these poor parents who don't know any better, taking their little harmless, little innocent little babies, little children to the doctor, and then they're being maimed for life or killed by these shots. And these people are suffering. My kid died because of vaccines. Died. Not my kid. I'm just saying somebody out there. Lots of people can say that. Lots of people. Hundreds, thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. I don't know. I'm trying to look up the exact numbers, but you got to go through VAERS, and it's difficult to find the data, and it takes time, and I didn't have time. I'm going to get off of here because this is really irritating. Things you don't have to do. You really don't have to do it. And I really upset with the people who say, well, I question the safety of vaccines, but I'm not anti-vaccine. I think vaccines are needed. For what? What are they needed for? They're not needed. They weren't needed years ago. They weren't needed when I was a kid and I got measles and I got chicken pox. I lived. Everyone I knew that had chicken pox, mumps, and measles lived. Never heard of anyone dying from it. Any of those diseases. Never heard of anyone dying. Never. Do you know anyone that died from measles, mumps, or chicken pox? And if so, what was their immune system like? What, did they have some other kind of ailment going on? What was wrong with their body? If they had a good immune system, they survived. It's easy. You don't have to get vaccines. They're not safe. They're not effective. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Oh, one more thing. In John 10:10, it says, "The thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but I am come to give you life and life more abundantly." This is Jesus talking. It's the words Aaron read. It's the Lord talking. He says, the thief, he's talking about the devil. The thief has come to steal, kill, and destroy. Now, doesn't that precisely define the governments? Think about it. They come to steal. Steal? Yes. Well, we won't even go into taxes. That's theft. But here in Michigan, heard a news item on the radio yesterday that we have this forfeiture thing where if you're caught soliciting prostitution or with drugs or whatever, relating to drugs and prostitution, I don't know of anything else, but they will forfeit your property. You forfeit your property. I mean, they will steal your property. And in this news item, they said over 400 people last year alone, over 400 people forfeited their property, but were not found guilty. And they didn't get their property back. They take your car, whatever. So they steal. They kill. There's so many instances, and they're high profile, and then there's ones you don't hear about very much, but they kill. Ask Randy Weaver. Ask the survivors at Waco. Ask Gordon Call's family. He was just a tax protester. They killed him. Ask, what's his name? Bill. What's that guy's name? I can't think of his name. Oh, he's really big on YouTube. They killed him. Gunned him down at his house. Oh, he lived in Wyoming or Montana or something. Oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name. He's got black hair. I can picture him, but I can't think of his name. Anyway, he was he predicted a lot of things. He was a very political and what they would call a conspiracy theorist whack job, but he had a lot of good information, and he predicted a lot of things that have come true, but he's dead. The government killed him. And there's probably lots more people the government have killed that I don't know about at this time, but I can figure it out later on, and you can figure it out too. So they come to steal, kill, and destroy. They destroy lives like we could go back to the IRS, but I don't want to go there. They seek to destroy with their stupid rules and laws that only occur in a socialist communist countries, which we really are, but we're not 100% there because we do have some freedoms and the ability to go on YouTube and make boring videos. But who knows? So things you don't have to do, there's lots of them. Think about it. If you can think of any, let me know. There's probably lots more I haven't thought of. But usually they revolve around healthcare, stuff like that. And just one of my big hot button issues, health is in your hands, not the government. If you put your health in the government's hands, and when I say the government, I'm not saying Congress people, but I am saying that because they make the stupid laws, which there is no law yet that forces all human beings to get vaccines. They want that. And then they push things like Obamacare on us. You must have this insurance. You have to have this insurance. But I don't go to doctors. Why do I have to have this insurance? Well, in case you have an emergency. Well, if I have an emergency, my auto policy covers emergencies. I don't need your stupid insurance. And I don't need to go to doctors. I don't have to do it. I don't have to go. Neither do you. So free your mind and your body from the control that the medical mafia has on you. Free your mind, free your body from it and say, no more vaccines, no more pills, no more products from Big Pharma that kill and maim and kill. No more. Free yourself. I pray that thousands, millions of people would free themselves from the medical mafia and stop doing things they don't have to do. You have to eat. You have to drink water. There's certain things in this life you have to do if you want to live. But going to doctors and getting shots is not one of them. Just not. Because it wasn't in the past. Why is it now? It's killing. It's killing. It's killing, and it's creating customers for doctors for life. You get a vaccine, it causes diabetes. It causes an autoimmune disease like lupus. It causes a food allergy. It causes so many things. It causes seizures. Oh, yeah, it causes seizures, and then you say, well, I live in a state that medical marijuana is not legal. I can't use marijuana to help my seizures. You just better have seizures, okay? Then you got to become a criminal to get some marijuana, some cannabis to cut down your seizures. It's awful. But there's hope. I don't want to leave without hope. My hope is in the Lord Jesus Christ. How about you? It's the only way to escape this life in one piece and with your sanity intact. I get upset and I scream and yell, but it's because I love little kids. I love kids, and I hate to see them die and get maimed because of stupid vaccines that are totally unnecessary. So, Lord, help the little children, Lord. God, they are under attack so bad. Help them, Lord. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Take care.